Okay, so real quick, do you guys know in Phineas and Ferb, Alien Heart, the part where he goes like, she can have it because I never want to be apart from her alien heart. I thought this whole time it was she can't have it because I never want to be a part. I never want to be a part of her alien heart. Now, what does this have to do with the podcast? Not really a damn thing. Also, speaking of podcasts, we got a guest coming on the show, so let's run it. Go. There we go. Sorry. Got a guy who edited it. But today is a really special podcast, mainly just because the person that I got, one, I wasn't expecting him to say he would come on because I've sent so many emails and so many messages, and usually either they never get back with me. No shots at them, not gonna name names. But I've been following this guy. I really can't remember the exact year, but I want to say 2018, 2019. And he runs a Instagram wrestling page, and he posts like all his like opinions, and he posts his results. And back when I did not have USA and Sci-Fi really didn't have cable, he was like my primary source for like what was happening with wrestling. And then when I was in the army during COVID and all that stuff, he definitely played a big part in like me still being a wrestling fan. And I also just really like it because a lot of his opinions are my opinions as well, so it's kind of easy. It's really easy to mess with somebody when like you guys kind of share the same opinions. So enough for me talking him up. I'm going to bring him in. We are talking to Pro Wrestling Everything.
What's up, man? Awesome to be on the show, man. I'm excited. I'm happy.
I'm happy. I'm geeking out. I even told like my girlfriend, I was like, yeah, like I got I was like, because she knows like every time we want to do something, but like Monday Night Raw or SmackDown's happening, she's always like, aren't you going to miss? I'm like, nope, I got a guy. Like you're the guy. Like you're the guy I always go to.
Awesome,
like,
hell yeah.
What happened? Like, all right, Ronda won. All right, Becky and Lita. Like, so you're the guy. So when I posted on my story, I was like, big news for like the podcast. And it's just like, oh, what's the big news? I was like, the guy that I always talk about who like always has the results pretty much. She's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm interviewing that guy. She was like, I would be geeking out about you. I was like, I am. Like, I'm just like. Awesome. I'm like, I never done, because even when I did, like, I was in the gym, like, I sent the text, and I was like, all right, we'll just see if he responds. I'm just working out, and I hear the, and then, like, I look down, I'm like, oh, I'm like, yes! Like,
awesome, man. I'm excited.
Got you. So, if you want to talk about yourself, talk about your channel, just give them, like, a brief introduction.
Yeah, I am Sam, also known as Pro Wrestling Everything. Started the page in 2015 when I was in high school, and now fast forward many years later, I'm 25 years old. Lost the original account, unfortunately.
We talked about it before the show. So
we did talk about that. I bounced back. Still growing the page and trying to get back to what I built before. But it's been. I've had a lot of really cool friends who also have accounts on Instagram that have helped me bounce back. Again, I told you one guy earlier, and I'll give him a plug on the show. The Wrestling Classic, Justin.
Yes,
great guy. I gotta give my boy credit.
All my homies love the Wrestling Classic.
All the homies love the Wrestling Classic, and even MJF loves the Wrestling
Yeah,
Classic.
I know.
He's valid. He's valid.
He's good with MJF. Great character.
Dude, as soon as MJF name dropped him, I got on my phone. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta text him because
I remember watching that, and I was like, has that ever happened where like a wrestling Instagrammer has gotten like
crazy
a nod on national TV? And like when he posts the text message and everything, I was like, holy shit! Like,
that was so insane. Cool. I was so happy for him about that, and but yeah, he's one of the guys that gave me shout outs and helped me get my followers back, and because we had a lot of the same followers, people that followed him followed me and vice versa. So because of him, I got a lot of my followers back, so I owe a lot to him. But I'm happy that I'm still doing this. There was a time where I thought I wasn't gonna even make a new account because I was just so distraught about the first one, but I did, and I'm so friggin' grateful that I did, because I don't know what I would have done without the Pro Wrestling Everything Instagram account.
I can't speak for the 8,000 people, 8,000 other people plus people who follow you. I can't speak for me, dude. I'm so happy. Like I already told you before we started the show when we were talking, man. I remember just being like in the army. I was like, all right, like let me see the results, and then I was like, where's my guy? Like, where's my guy? Like, what happened? And then I was even telling you, I was like, like I only knew you like as a fan of the account and like a follower, so I couldn't, I didn't know you personally. I couldn't be like, hey, Sam, like the fuck.
Right.
Where's my wrestling results? Like, what's going on with Brock and Ray? Like all this stuff.
Right.
It makes me so mad, dude, because I feel like I would have really enjoyed your content, but I was in boot camp around the time where they did 2019 Survivor Series, where it was NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown. When I tell you, I was so pissed that I missed that, all the build up, all the brawling. Dude, I love brawls in wrestling. That's like my favorite thing to watch. If a show starts up with a brawl, I'm like, top 5 show. Like, yes. Like, but
yeah, man. I also have a personal account as well that I post my daily life, and that's one of the accounts that I don't post about much. Just because there was one time that I said, if anything happens to this page, if it ever gets deleted, you guys can hit me up on my personal account. And that was a mistake. I got so many followers, but not only that, people were trying to follow my girlfriend, my family, my friends. I'm like, I am so sorry.
Yeah, people texting your grandma, yo, tell your grandson, tell him.
I know. That was never again. That was the biggest mistake I've ever made. And that's one of the reasons why people didn't know how to contact me, because I just stopped. I stopped plugging my personal, and only a select few outside of like family and friends that, I trust to follow me. And,
not to mention wrestling fans are crazy, dude. And like,
they're intense.
You can do a hot take without even knowing it's a hot take. Like,
oh yeah,
be like, oh, MJF is mid. Next thing you know, you got people wishing you death threats. Dude.
Oh my, dude, absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I made a post last night about AEW's announcement at Wembley Stadium
in London.
Yeah, and I said that in my opinion, which everything I post is my opinion, all opinionated. You don't have to agree with me. I'm not expecting everybody to agree with me.
Exactly.
I posted that, is it possible for AEW to sell out Wembley Stadium, 80,000+ people? Yes. Will it happen? Who knows? That's what I said. Is it possible? Anything is possible in wrestling. Anything is possible.
All in literally happened. Like,
right. Anything is possible.
5 years ago, and now we got AEW, so.
Yeah, I woke up this morning, and I had over a dozen people that follow me that I don't follow back. It was under like hidden or something like that. All these people that followed me, and they're like, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. Like, you have no knowledge of wrestling. You really think AEW is going to sell out Wembley Stadium? I'm like, why am I getting attacked? It's my opinion.
It's the fact that, like, I'm a wrestling fan, you're a wrestling fan, but, like, it's not our life. Like, we have a life outside. Like, I've even seen you post stuff outside of wrestling. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, he likes this movie franchise that I like. Oh,
yeah, like.
And so like, it's cool, but like, whenever someone is like, my problem, and like, I interviewed Major League Wrestling Alex Kane, and he kind of has the same problem he said on his TikTok, where like people who aren't either wrestlers or like inside the business start using business terms, but like talking like they know everything.
Right.
They're like, oh, he probably just doesn't want to do the job. It's like, dude, like, you're not.
Right.
Take your 10-follower ass out of here. Like, you're not even part of the show. Like,
yeah.
And like, you know what's going on. But speaking of a hot take, I saw you post this last night, so I was like, ooh, this should be a really good question. Or it's not even a question to talk about. I see you're a big fan of Sammy Guevara and Mello, because
they're
I'm only saying that because,
they're my people.
Sammy gets so much shit, dude. Like
He gets
Sammy and Tay.
a lot of hate, and I can literally rant about them to anybody on their side, by the way. Like, people hate Sammy, people hate Ty. It goes beyond like watching them on TV. Like people despise them as human beings. And it's like, why? You don't know them. You don't know who they are. I've seen people say, you know, oh well, Sammy cheated on his ex-wife Pam and started dating Ty and left her high and dry, and I just spit bars right there. That was actually but
wrestling, Sam.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
But it was insane, because the thing with Sammy is, like, he's the only one that publicly spoke about that. And Pam didn't come out and say anything. Ty didn't say anything. Sammy said, you know, there's no need for the hate. Pam and I broke up months before I started dating Ty. We were already done. We were split up. There was no cheating, no nothing, whatever. So people still want to have their weird mentality of Sammy cheated to be with Ty, and Ty cheated on her ex-husband to be with Sammy. And it's like, you're not in their life. You're not a part of their family. You're not their friends. You know, you don't know. You don't know.
You only know Sammy Guevara, the AEW wrestler on screen. You don't know
exactly
the person behind Sammy Guevara.
Exactly.
The woman behind Tay Mello.
Right. And I've met Sammy and Ty. I met them last summer.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. Two of the nicest, like, sweetest people you will ever meet. Amazing people. Like, both of them talked to me for a couple of minutes, and Sammy was a great guy, has an awesome sense of humor. Ty was phenomenal, great person, and people like want to point out Sammy's flaws, you know, and this thing that he said about Sasha,
right? You
know, there's no, like,
it was like back in 2016. Let's not act like
you can't just.
We all didn't have a weird sick sense of humor.
Right. Like, Sammy publicly apologized. He came out and said, and his exact words were, "When I was younger, my sense of humor was inappropriate.
Exactly.
I had something that I like to call shock humor, which is where you say something so offensive and it's like, oh my God, that's funny, but I can't believe you just said that. That's extremely offensive." And he apologized to Sasha. Sasha accepted his apology. That's
she could have easily not. She could have easily said
right.
No, like,
she easily could have said, you know,
or just not reply at all. It doesn't, you know.
Right. And you know, Sasha was the main victim in this entire thing. And if she accepted his apology
and forgive,
and if they're cool, and if she forgave and forget, then there's no reason why fans should hate him on her behalf when she is okay with it.
Exactly. And even with like stuff like Sasha, you have like a lot of people point out like he's problematic. So like the whole Andrade fight and the whole Eddie Kingston. My whole thing is just like, one, it's a job, and like it's wrestling. So like you always hear like people like wrestlers in interviews talk about how like it's a business of like egos, and like you kind of got to have a little bit of an ego somewhat. And like at the end of the day, all we know is what like a dirt sheet reporter reported. We don't necessarily know like who started the fight. There possibly couldn't even been a fight. It could have been like he shoved him back. All right, we're done. Like it could have easily been that, you know.
Literally could have been like a couple of words were said and that was that.
It literally could have been fake for AEW. All that like, for all we know, like all these fights, like the whole brawl out, they could have been like, oh my God, bro, they really think and throwing hands with CM Punk.
And what's crazy is like, even if it was a legitimate fight, do you really think there were no backstage fights in 80s, 90s WWE?
Exactly, yeah, and I saw you post that. And
I posted that. The only reason why we didn't know about it is because social media was non-existent. If there was social media in the 80s and 90s, every single day we would probably have read something new about something that happened.
Exactly. And even like the people who you don't see fighting, like I remember just being like, man, why can't people just be chill like WWE? And then I was like, I just saw an article like John Cena fought Carlito. I'm like, what the hell? Like, that was such a weird matchup.
I know.
Or like John Cena and Ryback got into it. Like,
Yeah.
wait, what? Like, this is so confusing. Like,
I know.
Ryback? Like Carlito? Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. It's crazy. There's gonna be drama everywhere, and it's just something that you can't escape. You know, there's drama everywhere, whether it's, you know, wrestling, sports, celebrities, or just everyday jobs. People are not going to get along. You're not going to have one place where everybody loves each other, everybody gets along. The only reason why AEW was, you know, in the line of target for those things is because they are a huge company, then they're on TV every single week. But it's like, if there's a fight at the local Starbucks down the street, there's not going to be like a social media article about it. You know what I mean? Like AEW, like they're on TV, they have a TV channel. Of course they're going to be in the spotlight, you know.
And they probably don't even mind when that stuff gets spotted, because like, oh well, like people are going to be tuning in to see, like,
yeah, exactly.
You know,
people are going to watch anyway. So
exactly, because like now, you know, we're current, we're popular right now,
right? Yeah.
Trending. But I will say, you actually even open up my eyes, because I feel like as wrestling fans, like it's very easy to kind of like get tangled in like the quote unquote news and dirt sheets, to where you kind of form an opinion where you're like, oh, I wouldn't want to meet that person. Like they seem terrible. But then like you kind of forget like one, like, and even like wrestlers have said this, like wrestlers like going on interviews, they're like, most dirt sheets are like not like true. Like it's mostly like 70% fluff and like 30% like, you know, actual real. So like that kind of opened my eyes, because I didn't hate Sammy or like Tay Mel. Like I never went with the current crowd. I was like, oh, boo. I was like, Sammy, like, is talented. He seems okay. Like he's done some stuff, but like repentance. So like I'm not gonna, like, I've done some stuff, so like I'm not gonna hold it against him. But when you kind of went on that rant and made that post, I was like, you know, like he has a point. Like we don't know like Sammy the person, and same with Tay. Right. Like, you know, we don't know if he really did cheat or if she did cheat. You know, all the stuff that people are like kind of using to like hate Sammy the person. Like we don't know all this, so we're not in their lives.
And I guess the biggest gripe I have with dirt sheets, and I'm not going to name names to avoid issues. People that follow me know, people that follow me.
This is my channel. I appreciate it.
People that follow me know who I don't like.
I know who you don't like.
You know who I don't like.
We'll probably talk about it afterward.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course.
We share
once
one.
The cameras are done rolling.
Neither, but we're not going to say it now. No names. We're not going to.
No hate.
But I know who you're talking about, and we'll probably talk about it after we're off air. But let's get to the questions. First question: what is your first like core wrestling memory? Like the first wrestling thing you can remember?
First wrestling thing. So I started watching in 2005. It was right before Eddie passed away. So I got to see a little bit of Eddie, which I'm grateful for. I got to see 2 years of Chris Benoit's career, which I'm thankful for. One of my favorite memories as a kid was WrestleMania 24 at the Citrus Bowl in Orlando.
Yeah, that was Shawn versus Rick, right?
Yes, it was Shawn versus Rick. That match will always be one of my all-time favorite WWE matches of all time. That everything about that match was just perfection. And I remember I'm a huge fan of Red Hot Chili Peppers. So when they used the Snow song as one of their theme songs, which, by the way, I don't think Vince realized this. That song is about cocaine.
He probably does. He's a millionaire.
But he still used it as a theme song for some reason.
I love this song I love it.
But that was one of my favorite songs. It still is. And just that memory of just hearing one of my favorite bands, you know, had the theme song to WWE, and then the whole Shawn and Rick match, and just watching it with my dad as a kid, like just that whole night was just perfect. And I also really liked the I believe it was JBL versus Finlay in that Belfast Brawl match. I think it was like the opening match on the card, and I thought that was great. I thought everything about that
was also very underrated.
Yeah, I thought everything about that show was perfect. So that's probably like the biggest core wrestling moment I have, is just watching that with my dad.
Bro, that's awesome. I'm always curious to like people's first wrestling memory, because like it's like a lot of older people. They're like, oh, Stone Cold Steve Austin, like, and The Rock. And then like I have a weird one. Like, you're like, who was the first wrestler you remember seeing? I'm like, Super Crazy, Bobby Lashley, and Umaga. Like, very weird. Like, no one has that. Like, I actually did like a video where I was like, man, like, wrestling fans see this, I'm gonna get roasted. Like, bro, like Super Crazy, like, Super Crazy. Like, he was like,
dude. I remember Super Crazy. I remember him vividly. So
it's a blast from the past.
Oh yeah, man, I love it.
All right, next question. What was the first wrestler you remember being like, that's my guy, like that's my dude, like I'm interested in whatever he does?
I have two actually. Jeff Hardy
and John Cena.
Jeff Hardy and John Cena.
I feel like that's like everybody. Every kid loved John.
I know. I'm completely basic with my answer, but
no, I'm saying, brother. I'm saying I hated Edge.
Yeah, Edge.
And I used to call him Rated R Stupid Star when I was like a little kid. And bro, I feel so bad because like the dude's just freaking awesome. And I was like, I was just so dumb. I couldn't see the genius of Adam Copeland, aka Edge. Like,
Edge was such a dickhead, but Adam Copeland is one of the nicest human beings you will ever meet. And I can say the same thing for The Miz. Like, The Miz is an absolute shithead on TV.
Yeah, I thought The Miz was a terrible person. Like,
oh my god,
I was like,
but
who's this
Mike
bag? Like,
like Mike, the guy behind The Miz, is a sweetheart, one of the nicest guys. And I've met both Edge and The Miz. Great guys.
I gotta stop asking you who you met, because you're gonna start making me jealous. Because Edge is definitely someone I want to meet. Miz is somebody I want to meet. Those because they're so cool. And like, everybody knows Edge is cool, but I'm like, you guys are like how cool The Miz is. Like, let's not forget the Talking Smack promo.
Oh my!
From 2016. Like, let's not forget. Like, The Miz is that guy. Like,
The Miz is, in my opinion, one of the best talkers in all of pro wrestling.
For me, he's top 10. He's in top 10.
Without a doubt.
Probably top 5 too, if I would say best.
Without a doubt, absolutely. Like, I would put him up there with Rock, Stone Cold, Cena, Edge, Triple H. Even, I'll even put over MJF and give him his flowers too. I think he's one of the greatest talkers of this generation of, phenomenal promo. And in my opinion, he's definitely up there with The Miz. And that's a hot take too, because not a lot of people agree.
Yeah, a lot of people, like, I've seen a lot of people who say like MJF is good, but he's not that good, and like Miz is better. And I always just feel like it's kind of hard to compare wrestlers. Because one, I feel like it's not fair, because like I'm pretty sure, I don't know MJF, I've never met him, but like I'm pretty sure he's not in the AEW backstage going like, I want to act like The Miz. Like, I'm pretty sure he's like trying to build his own character. Like, I'm sure, like, The Miz, I'm pretty sure The Miz isn't like, I want to act like this MJF guy. From
AEW. And that's like one of the biggest gripes I have with like a lot of people in the IWC is like, people want to think that MJF wants to be The Miz. Every time MJF cuts a promo, I see it all the time. It's, he's trying to be The Miz. He's trying to be The Miz. He's trying to be The Miz. Do you really think MJF is backstage on his phone watching Miz promos going, oh yeah, no, that's
watching
that. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So like, there are similarities between the two, but The Miz is his own guy in his own company. MJF is his own guy in his own company.
Exactly.
MJF is gonna carve his own path. MJF is gonna be the first MJF, not the next Miz. So it's like, that's one comment that just gets under my skin. More than it should.
No, and I agree. And since you're talking MJF and Miz, I'm about to grab this mic and maybe do my own talk this Mac. All right, so listen, fuckers, for all you people who are lowballing my man the Miz, let Miz go to AEW where the rating is TV 14. And let him cook. Let the Miz drop F-bombs, F-bomb, bro.
Can you imagine, though?
Bro, the Miz is like...
That would be crazy.
Wrestlers on TV where they're cutting a promo and you're like, oh, I know they want to cuss, but they can't because it's
yeah.
TV. Like, bro, if he goes to TV 14... Bro, John Cena comes on that there. We get like a lot of you kids don't know 2005 John Cena was ruthless on the mic, dude.
2005 John Cena was a menace.
Bro, I don't want to say it too much. I don't want people to clip this podcast episode and make me look like a bad guy, but he did a promo on Lita and he constantly used the word hoe. And it's like one of my favorite John Cena promos ever.
I remember that. I remember that. And another guy who I didn't mention that I want to put over as a great promo is Dolph Ziggler.
Yes.
He's phenomenal as well. And he's someone that not a lot of people talk about when they talk about great promos. He is a great friggin' promo. One of the best sellers and a great promo.
One of the best sellers in wrestling, definitely. But
sure.
I actually forgot how good of a promo. Like because you asked me now, Dolph Ziggler wouldn't come to mind. Like, that's no disrespect to Dolph Ziggler. I just wasn't thinking. But, like, going back and, like, on a mic when he was in NXT for that little bit back in, 2022, Braun Breaker, he was, like, one of the high points, like, of NXT. I remember I started watching it, stopped watching it, and then when I saw Dolph Ziggler on, I was like, yo, let me get this a little look. Like, I know he's about to go off. Like. All right, but next question I got. So, first pay-per-view, and like I'm gonna try to make it tricky. When I say first pay-per-view, one that like you watched the full duration of. So like I have like a lot of pay-per-view where I've seen like clips and pieces.
Yeah.
But, like my first actual pay-per-view was Elimination Chamber 2015. So like, that was my first sit down. I watched it all the way from beginning to end. So what would yours be?
Oh man, this one's hard.
Right? Yeah, it's a bit hard to question because. If you've been a wrestling fan for a minute, you really got to like
you got to really think about it. In 2005, I was a kid, so I don't remember much about like when I was a kid. Like my memory it has never been the greatest. I sometimes forget what I had for dinner like a couple nights ago. But I can tell you just right off the top of my head. One of the first pay-per-views that I ever watched, and this might be the case because even though I started watching wrestling in 2005, when I was younger, I didn't have like the biggest attention span. So sitting down for 2 or 3 hours and just watching something on TV, so impossible. I wanted to get up and I wanted to run around my house and I wanted to go outside and I wanted to do this and do that. So I would say that like I started watching full pay-per-views in like 2007, 2008. And even when I started watching the full pay-per-views, I actually went back from when I started watching wrestling. So in like 2008, I went back to 2005, 6, and 7 and watched all the pay-per-views that I would skip. Watched all of them.
Wow.
But the one pay-per-view that I watched, top to bottom was, I believe, SummerSlam 2008. And I think it was Maria Kanellis was on the cover. She was like riding a jet ski or something. I love Maria
Kanellis, man. I love Maria.
Maria's phenomenal. She's great. She's incredible. Yeah, I believe it was her riding a jet ski was like the poster. And don't ask me how I remember that.
I mean, 2008, you were what, 10, bro? I know what was. I'm a man too.
Dude, how can you forget Maria Kanellis,
bro? You
carrying a bikini, riding a jet ski when you're 10 years old? You know what I mean? Like it's just something.
I love Maria Kanellis like outside. I'm a man, so I love Maria Kanellis outside of like all the bikini photo shoots. Like I think she's really smart. I hate when people shit on her because she's not like a wrestler. But dude,
right?
Like, Maria. If you're Maria was definitely like your crush at one time period,
dude. Probably she still is.
No, I still follow her, and every now and then when like she posts like something, like I'm just like, Jeffrey, you have a girlfriend. Like, put the phone down. Like, stop it.
Oh,
like,
man.
My girlfriend, like, you can look at other people. I'm like, no, like this is getting ridiculous. Like it's been 10 minutes.
Look, I might get in trouble with my own girlfriend for saying what I just said. So that whatever.
Okay, we'll cut it out. We'll cut it out. I got you, bro.
I didn't say that.
I got you. They gonna come home where you're like, hey, bro, my girlfriend broke up with me. Like, me too. Me too. Like, what you trying to
do? But yeah, like a lot of people want to say that like Maria is dumb because of like the airhead character that she had as an interviewer. Like she acted like she was brain dead, and she acted like a moron. Yeah. But that was a character. She's not actually stupid. She's actually very smart. She's very.
She has like her own wrestling promotion, women's wrestling.
Oh, yeah. She's very.
If you haven't, go give it a to the fans, not you exactly, but to the fans, if you haven't, go give it a watch. Go support it. It's literally on Pro Wrestling TV. It's free. You just download the app, and like her, Mike Bennett, like he posted like a lot of great content on Twitter. Like a good happy space. Same with her.
Oh, dude, Mike is another guy who's a great human being.
Let me guess, you met him too? You met them both?
I did not meet Maria, but I have met Mike.
Oh, you're half a bastard then. You're half a bastard.
Yeah. He was competing at a wrestling school that I go to. I'm their photographer. I've known them for 10 years. I'm the Monster Factory in New Jersey.
That too. Yeah, Monster Factory, right?
Monster Factory. I gotta again give a plug to
yes, sir.
My people. They actually have a documentary on Apple TV.
I saw it, yeah. I'm actually I forgot all about it until you mentioned it, but now that I remember, I'm definitely watching it tonight.
Great watch. If you guys want to check it out, I recommend, again, giving a plug to them. But Mike actually did a show there, I believe in 2017. He was a heel. I forgot off the top of my head who he fought, but I met Mike that night. Great guy. He was so down to earth. He was so happy to meet everybody, and I remember being so pissed. I was like, this asshole. So during his match, I remember right before he won the match, he like put his arms out and he screamed, Maria. So I'm thinking she's gonna run down and interfere. So I'm like, yo, Maria's here. Where is she at? And he was like, this is for you, babe. And then he was like, you all thought she was gonna come out here? I was like, this motherfucker.
That man literally just blue ball like the whole crowd. Like Maria
called every guy there.
And right, boom,
dude, that got him so much heat that night because everybody, as soon as he yelled her name, everybody was like looking at the entrance and she never came out.
Bro, imagine like if the people went along with it, like they played her music, show like
oh yeah, like they played her music,
like and he's like, here she comes again, yeah. And you're like, oh my God, Maria, and he's like,
I know, dude. I thought I was so mad in the heat of the moment because I've always wanted to meet Maria, and she's still someone on like my wrestling bucket list of people that I want to meet is her.
She's so like at the top. She's like top 5.
I can make that happen this year. Is a goal, but even though I was so mad at the heat of the moment because I thought she was coming out, I was like, that was phenomenal heel work. Like, that was incredible.
Get her on the podcast, and I'll make a deal. If I get her on the podcast, I'll invite you on for like a couple minutes so we can both.
You're the best.
Fangirl over, or sorry, fanboy over Maria. Like,
oh hell yeah.
Make her feel like when I was 5, when I was 10. You know,
dude, like I said,
Anderson was looking at you in New Jersey.
Yeah, I know.
She 14. Who cares? Like,
yeah, she was actually probably one of my first wrestling crushes because she was doing the whole airhead thing in like 2005. So I genuinely believe she was one of my first ever wrestling crushes when I started watching, which is going to make her feel extremely old. But
yeah, because she's like 40. I want to say like 40. I think she just turned 40.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm
too.
23, so I know like, I'm a baby to her. Like if and like that's my fear because like you know how like it is when you're a fan of somebody, especially like wrestlers. You kind of want to go there. You want to make it seem like you're like very intelligent. They're like, oh, hey man, like I would love to do stuff with you or work with you. You don't want to go in there and be like Maria, like like, you know, like you don't want to be weird and like you don't want to go like it's like going to John Cena. He's like, hey man, nice to meet you. You're like, what's your workout regime? Like how much meat do you eat? Like, you know, what's your hardest attitude? You want to become cool, like, but it's hard.
Yeah. So John is another guy who's very, very cool.
John Cena.
I did meet John.
Son of a bitch. He's over, bro.
I did meet John. So it was actually crazy. So about a half hour from me, there was a wrestling house show. It was one of the last house shows that John Cena did back in 2017 before he officially entered like part-time, whatever.
Yeah, part-time.
Yeah, it was, I think July. I was the only adult man wearing a John Cena shirt. Every man booed him. It was still the John Cena hate club was still in attendance even in 2017. And I think the main event, I could be wrong, I think it was John Cena versus Rusev was the main event. It was John Cena and Rusev because
that makes sense because he was facing Rusev at Battleground.
Yeah, it was John Cena and Rusev because Rusev was making fun of me and targeting me the entire time. So was Lana.
She was grown man with a John Cena.
So
like, shut up! I hope he signs it.
Yeah. So after the show, I was again like I've seen John wrestle before, but like, sorry, I got a call for a second. I was front and John was there, so like I'm sitting next to my dad, and my dad's like, "Oh my god, like put your phone out, try and get a picture." So I'm like, I'll try. So I have my phone ready, and I was the first person that John went to out of everybody. I was the first person he went to, and I got a picture with him. And you know what's funny? Every other guy that booed John was like, "Oh yeah, John, let's get a picture," and dissed all of them, dissed every single one of them, and took pictures with kids, and then left. I loved it. I was like, I love this man. I was like geeking out. I sent that picture to all my friends. My mom texted me back, and she was like, "WTF? You just met John Cena?" Like everybody was.
It smells like whey protein.
That was to this day. That's probably one of my favorite memories of being wrestling.
I'm so jealous because one, I have never met a wrestler in person. Like not even like small indie wrestlers. Like, oh yeah,
really?
Down the street and run. I have never met. There is one. So there was like a wrestling show that I went to like an hour from my house, and I knew the guy who was like the former promoter for it. So I went there, and it was like this one guy. And, like I shook him, but it was Luke Gallows used to have a wrestling school / promotion in Georgia. And it was that. It was like Lariat Pro Wrestling. I think that's what it was called at the time.
Right.
And like I met one guy, and like I was like, "Hey, dude, he did awesome." It was like, "Yeah, okay." I have a bucket list of people where I'm just like, I'm gonna try to act cool, man. But damn it, like if they dap me up, if they give me a hug, like the tears are gonna come. Like all their questions. Like
I have a bucket list of people that I want to meet that I haven't met either. Kenny Omega's one of them. I've been a huge Kenny Omega fan for years, and I've seen him wrestle live, but he's someone that I've never met. So he's another guy that I wanna meet. I wanna go see a live NXT show at some point. You know, I wanna meet Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker. I'm like the biggest NXT fan right now.
No, NXT is to the fans. If you're not watching NXT, I don't care if it's at black and gold. What is wrong with you, dude?
Honestly,
if we're talking Stand and Deliver, that 5-way match, what's it called? Who was it? Damn it. Dragon Lee, Wesley, like all those guys competing. That match went crazy. Like all the matches were pretty good. Like in my opinion, like it was a pretty good pay-per-view. From the women's ladder match in the beginning, I was so happy when Indy won. I was hoping, I didn't think she would ever win, and then
I was shocked.
Yeah, no, I was like,
now they're finally pulling the trigger on Indy after all these years. Like, what changed?
Exactly. Yeah, I was wondering, but like I was shocked and like Indy, but at the same time I was happy because like I've been an Indy Hartwell fan since like 2020 when she was doing the Way with Johnny Gargano.
Oh yeah,
and Candice LeRae.
She's awesome. She's great.
Yeah. And like, so I was happy, but I was just so surprised. And then when Dexter Loomis came out and like helped her, I was like, you know, me being my girlfriend, she's not here, she's at work right now, but me being like the love mark that I am, I was like, yeah! Like I'm looking at my girlfriend like, I'll do the same for you, babe. Like, great, but I'm never going to be a wrestler. Like, like, well, I'll help you climb the corporate ladder. She's like, that's not even a real thing. That's just what people say. There's no actual physical ladder. Like, but no, yeah, that whole pay-per-view was just great. It was like a whole wrestling weekend for most fans. Like I watched my first Ring of Honor pay-per-view. So good. I remember like so good. I even wrote my first official article for Daily DDT. I wrote
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was my first official article, which if you haven't, go check it out, Daily DDT. I give my thoughts about Ring of Honor, the Supercard of Honor. That was like my first Ring of Honor show. And I was like, I've been a Ring of Honor fan. I want to say since like 2014, 2015. It's like around when the Young Bucks and the Bullet Club started like kind of getting popular. That's when I started. So I was like, why am I just now watching? Like I've had money. I've had money for years. Like I could have been watching a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. And now like I'm sad because of course Jay Briscoe died. That kind of makes me sad. Yeah, that dude. I woke up from a nap and saw that news, and like I had to go hug my girlfriend for a second because like I have a brother. And like I'm super close to my brother, and like how like Mark and Jay Briscoe, how they're just like a year apart. So are me and my brother. So like there are certain things where like I'm not trying to say like I felt the sadness or like you know I felt that because I feel whenever people do that and it's not somebody they really know, it kind of comes off as bullshitty.
Right.
But, like that definitely like hit me in a certain way where I was like, damn, dude, because like it was just so sudden, so random. We all saw this dude team up with his brother against some FTR and arguably match of the year.
Oh yeah, that was a phenomenal match that they had.
Dog collar tag match. Even when I heard that, I was like, how do you even do that, dude? I'm like a dog collar tag match, like.
It was great. It was awesome. Yeah. When I saw the news that Jay passed, I was actually scrolling through Instagram and I saw Tony's post, Tony Khan, and I was actually with my girlfriend and we were playing PlayStation, PS5, and I just saw that. I saw what happened and I just froze. Like I went from having a good time to just like emotionless. Like I didn't know how to feel.
Yeah, that was exactly me. Like I
terrible.
I like my girlfriend was on the phone. I just like, hey, I gotta hug you. And it's, I'm not gonna get into like the specifics, but like, I struggle with mental health like millions of other people around the world. But like, I gotta hug you. Like it like hit me a certain way. And like I kind of felt, I was like, why am I reacting? Like I didn't know the person, but like when you're a fan of wrestling. It's kind of like, and then like for me, like there's no one I know around my area who's a fan of wrestling. So like if it's a wrestling pay-per-view, 9 out of 10 times I'm watching it alone. Like unless like my girlfriend's next to me, but like there's really no one I can talk to like about wrestling. So like like I'm outside, she's like of course feeling sad for me. I'm like smoking a cigar, like I like just trying like smoking my feelings, dude. Like, and I'm just like, man, like this is so like surreal. I'm like, trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah, I was same with Brody. Like when Brody,
man,
I was so hurt because I've never met Brody, but I've seen him wrestle live like 5 or 6 times.
I've seen him wrestle. I saw him wrestle live when I went to my SmackDown show back in 2017. He was and he was a big guy. Like I remember, like
huge.
Yeah, there's whenever like people asking like, oh, like you gone to wrestling, like who are like big people, like or people like Aiden English is surprisingly big. I didn't expect him to be big.
Aiden English is very tall.
He's a very tall, big guy. Like he's lean muscle. But I remember it being Aiden English, Brody Lee being huge, and I remember it being Randy Orton.
Randy Orton is
6'5" and like 250 pounds lean muscle.
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing him and like I was in the nosebleeds and I was like, Jesus, this guy is huge. Like,
yeah, I didn't get a picture with Randy Orton, but I had a conversation with him before. It was I think it was WrestleMania Access, 2013. 29. Yeah, and I was always a tall kid. I've grown a couple inches since then, but when in 2013 I was probably like 6'1", 6'2", and I remember like Randy Orton. I went up to meet Randy Orton, and he was like, "Hey man, how old are you?" And I told him I'm not good with math. I was like, I don't know, maybe 13 or 14.
We're 2 years apart, so in 2013 I was 13, so you're about 15.
Yeah, I was like 15, something like that. And he was like, "Dude, I want to stand up and just go back to back with you." And like, I was like, he's I think like 6'5". At the time I was 6'2", but I was 15 years old, so he was impressed that a 15-year-old was 6'2".
Yeah.
And now I'm even closer. Now I'm 25 and I'm 6'4".
Dude, that's even because like on a good day for me, I'm like 5'9".
Yeah.
So like, and it's this is gonna sound so bad, but you know, like of course, like in wrestling, some don't lie about like height and weight.
Mm-hmm.
So like, there's some wrestlers who don't, like Rey Mysterio. Like he's like, oh no, I never lie, like because like that's like my character. Jonathan Gresham, he's like a really short guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but like whenever I see a wrestler, they're like, I'm 5'10". I'm like, no, you're not. Like short recognizes short. Like you're 5'7". Like
right. Like God bless him. I love Adam Cole to death, but he is not 6 feet tall.
Yeah, I remember when people were trying to book Adam as like 6 foot tall, like, 205 pounds. I'm like,
he is not.
I love Adam. I'm like, you don't have to lie. Like I can look at this man. Like I'm 250 like now, and I'm like, bro, like Adam Cole is not. If he's 205, like it's got to be in his legs or something. Because like, it ain't, and like 6 feet, I'm like Adam Cole. Because like you can just look at some people on TV and you're just like. Like if someone said 5'10", I'm like, yeah, I believe that.
I would say like Adam Cole is realistically probably like 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah, I can see Adam Cole being like a tad bit taller than me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Next question. So, I feel like we kind of gone over this, but do you have any hot takes? Or like takes or not takes that don't get canceled now. I don't need you. I don't need you being like women suck in wrestling. Like, yo, bro, please.
No, I actually love women's wrestling. I have a couple of friends that don't. They don't care. I actually like women's wrestling. If I had a hot take, it would probably be. Again, I'll go back to what we discussed earlier, and that's probably the biggest hot take I have right now is Sammy and Ty don't deserve any hate.
Right.
At all.
Yeah,
that's the biggest hot take I can
you already did it.
Say right now. That's definitely a huge hot take is definitely them. If I can think of something new,
if you can think of something new, you can definitely bring it like back up even while we're
I would definitely have to think. I would definitely have to think, but if I can think of something, I'll definitely bring it up.
But all right, so next question. So this is I always see a bunch of wrestling Instagram memes like this, so I decided to do my own. So this is called a push, release, and jobber. So pretty much you have to push one of these people, you have to release one of them, and then you have to turn one into a jobber.
Okay.
So I feel like this is a good one, not too hard. So first up, we have Seth Rollins.
Okay.
Next up, we have Chad Gable. And next up, we have Austin Theory.
3 guys that I'm a huge fan of. So
exact same for me. So I was like, I didn't want to make it easy. I didn't want to be like, oh, well, that person's already a jobber. So
yeah.
Them there. So
I would probably have to say push Chad Gable because he is very capable of holding his own. He is insanely strong. He's not the biggest guy, but he is insanely strong. He's a great wrestler. He has a great mind for wrestling if you watch his interviews. All around, he is the total package, in my opinion.
Yeah, years ago I got to ask Simon Gotch a question on like Instagram, and I was like, who's like a wrestler who's really strong and that people don't think is strong? And he said Chad Gable.
Oh, I believe
like back in 2017. Yeah, he was like, oh no, Chad Gable's like legit. Like, and even if you follow his Instagram, dudes like
Chad Gable's a freaking badass, man. He's awesome. I love Chad.
All right, so we got push Chad Gable.
I would release Seth Rollins just because I want to see another run as Tyler Black. Just kind of touring the entire world, maybe doing some Ring of Honor, doing New Japan, showing up in AEW. You know, I want to see
Seth Rollins could really be that guy in AEW too. He could, like how Roman is in WWE, he could legit be
absolutely
that guy.
He could. Absolutely he could. So I do want to see another Tyler Black run, and I gotta say I gotta release Theory, and I'm a huge Theory fan, so that hurts me to say, but
you actually kind of did how I would, because
or turn Theory into a jobber.
Yeah, to a jobber. Sorry, yeah. Because at that point, like, Chad is like someone who I've been wanting to wrestle, like not wanting to wrestle, but like just wanting to see get like a solid push, and that as a tag partner, because he's great as a tag partner. But I'm like, bro, give me like Kurt Angle wrestling machine type push with Chad.
Dude, if there's
like,
anybody,
Chad Gable does suplex any and everybody.
Oh my god! If there's anybody who can legitimately be like, I always hate saying this, the next so and so, but if there's anybody who could fill Kurt Angle's shoes in WWE, it's friggin' Chad Gable.
Exactly.
Like, he's a machine.
And in my mind too, is like whenever people talk about like the forbidden door in WWE, like they kind of let Shinsuke Nakamura go to Pro Wrestling Noah, fight the Great Muta. I'm just like, bro, if they do that again, like send Chad Gable and Otis to like New Japan.
Oh,
and
dude,
just
that'd be awesome.
Let them like brawl like all the teams. Like they could become the next, like again, like I hate kind of saying the next, like you kind of like people have their own, but they could be like the next Steiner brothers. And like the news that happened with Rick Steiner, we're not gonna.
Oh, absolutely.
But love like the Steiner. Like I love watching like their match and their chemistry. Like they could easily become, and then just bring them back, and then they're just like, you know. Just,
but those guys are out. Even Otis. Yeah. Even Otis. Like people look at him as like a comedic gimmick, but like, man, you give Otis a serious powerhouse gimmick, and he can go. Like, exactly. Otis is awesome. I like Otis. He's cool.
Exactly. Just give me Chad Gable, Otis, or like you don't even have to split up Chad and Gable. Just make them more serious. Like make it like they're like that top tag team. Like. I would take Chad Gable and Otis dethroning Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens like down the road. Not right now.
I'd be cool with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I love those guys.
Yeah. All right. Next question. So we have this one. This is kind of similar to the last question I asked you. So 2 wrestlers. You can pick 2 wrestlers. The only thing is they have to be from different companies.
Okay.
And then you have to swap them out and put them in another company. So it doesn't have to be, so if you pick an AEW or WWE wrestler, they don't have to be swapped to WWE and AEW. You can say like put him in NWA or put him in Impact.
Okay. I'll say Roman Reigns to AEW.
What?
Just
that is such a weird.
wait, hear me out. Roman Reigns to AEW, just so I can scroll on social media and see all the AEW fans who talk shit about Roman Reigns just go to loving him because he's in their company now.
I was like, there has to be some sort of.
That's the reason. I think that would be hilarious. And then
if Roman Reigns ever gets released, I can just see him leaving wrestling in general. Like just like been a good run. Later, guys.
He just walks out with the one.
You don't want going home.
And then the other one I would see. And I know this was a rumor that has now been debunked after last night, but I was actually looking forward to seeing Jay White in WWE if it were to happen.
Yeah, I was kind of interested in seeing.
I was interested in that. I thought that would have been cool.
Yeah, I'm not mad that he's in AEW because I feel like he's a perfect fit in either company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jay's awesome. I definitely think like when I saw Jay White wrestle for the first time a couple years ago, back when like really not a lot of people knew who he was. He was clean shaven. He had generic ass gear. I wasn't too impressed with him.
Yeah, this was
I wasn't too impressed with him, but he has gotten tremendously better. He is great now. Like he is awesome.
First time I remember seeing Jay White and just kind of like even watching him was when he beat Kenny Omega for the IWGP US Championship, and then him and Hangman, which I fucking love Hangman Page. Yeah, he's definitely top. I need to do another top 10 favorite wrestlers. And it's probably Hangman's probably the number. So spoiler, it's probably going to be Hangman for number 1 or number 2. I love it. But that was like my first time. But that's a very interesting pairing. When you said Roman Reigns to All Elite Wrestling, I was like, I don't see that. I'm like, bro, Roman would just run roughshod over everybody.
Dude,
like,
I would love.
He's just in a ring with MJF. Like, look at this kid.
I would love to just see Roman Reigns go out there with the gimmick he has now, not changing a thing. Go out there unscripted and just go off. That would fucking be amazing.
Dude. One thing, and this might be a little bit of a hot take, but I don't want to see this happen. So don't think this is like I'm scared, but send Cody back to AEW and have him be a legit like American Nightmare. Like have him just beating everybody. Have him team with the Bullet Club. They turn Hill like 2016 back. Again, I like Cody and WWE. Like I was a fan of him AEW even like after he left the company. He was like my top guy for the longest. But man, like that's probably like the one guy I would say. That's like the one that comes to my mind.
Oh yeah, it's been over a year since Cody left AEW and went to WWE, and like over 12 months later, and it still doesn't like feel real.
Yeah, it still feels.
You know what I mean? Like it still feels weird that like Cody's no longer on Wednesday nights. He's back in WWE, and it's one of those things where it's like,
and it's Cody too. Like it's the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. Not
like he's one of the
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, he's one of the founding fathers of AEW. So like, I know Cody said that. One of the reasons was because he sees himself as more of a wrestler than a producer, than a backstage hand, and all that. But it's like you kind of realize or like think about like, did anything happen? Like why all of a sudden now would he just up and leave? You know what I mean? Did something happen?
Yeah, because you're like it had to have been something big. Because like in AEW, he like had it made. He was a
Dude, he was doing everything.
Yeah, he was like doing everybody. I think one thing I remember him saying was like he felt like he was a gatekeeper, and he was like I can kind of see what he means because towards the end, pretty much every new guy took on Cody Rhodes. Like Andrade came in, he took on
every
Cody Rhodes.
new signing.
Aleister Black came in, he took on Cody Rhodes. Malachi Black now. So I can kind of see like what he meant with there. And like I definitely do think like his stock went up when he came over to WWE, mainly just because like the shock factor. Because back in 2019, if I was like, hey, like future Jeffrey, shock my mind, like Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania 39, I'm like, bullshit, dude. Like, you're lying.
Like, and it's like the craziest thing. In like 2020, when Roman started this run, who would have thought that one of the biggest matches back in 2020 that he was going to be in was against fucking Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, the main event of night 2. Like,
exactly.
It's crazy. And it's like, again, and what I just talked about goes back to the Sammy and Ty thing. I'm not going to hate anybody because we only know what Cody said. Same with Sammy. We only know what Sammy said. So it's like, I'm not putting the blame on anybody. but it makes you wonder, like, Cody had it made. So I'm not going to point fingers and say, oh, Tony did this and the Bucks did that and Cody did this and Cody did that. But it's like, it makes you wonder, like, is there something we don't know?
Yeah.
And people can have that speculation about Sammy and Ty and Pam. But it's like, don't point fingers if you don't know.
Or don't get carried away with it.
Don't get carried away. Like, you can speculate.
Yeah.
You can speculate, oh, man, like, maybe this did happen. But don't point fingers if you don't know for sure. You know what I mean?
Like,
so it's like, we don't know what happened backstage with Cody and Tony and the Bucks and Kenny. But it's like, it makes you wonder, maybe something severe happened and Cody was just like, screw this, I'm out. You know what I mean? So
and even to all the people who like do run, wild with all these ideas and post it and do all these like dirt sheet articles and whatnot, don't think like me and Sam aren't thinking the same thing. Cause like kind of like how he said, like I wonder that too. But the difference is we don't put it on Twitter. Like we don't
exactly like
we don't tag these wrestlers in and assume we know every detail of their lives.
Right. And one of the biggest things that I actually find hilarious is mostly on Twitter, and I hate Twitter with a passion. But mostly on
crazy.
Wrestling Twitter is insane. But like when someone has an issue with a wrestler and they make their point and then they tag the wrestler thinking that the wrestler is going to respond or even give a shit, when most of the time they don't. And that just kills me. I laugh every single time. Because, like, people are doing hashtag fire Vince and tagging Vince.
Yeah,
he's going to go on Twitter.
I actually meant to put that in my notes and talk to you about.
Like, you think Vince is scrolling through Twitter carrying?
Like, he's a 70-year-old man. Like,
yeah, he's in his mid-70s. You really think he cares?
I could go to my dad, who's 59, and be like, "Hey, Dad, they have a hashtag called Fire Robert." He's like, "I don't care. Like,
I don't give a shit.
I'm going to work." Like, I'm like, "Y'all really think like, like he now like is something going to change?" Like, for all we know, Vince might be like, "You know what? Like, let me lay off a little bit. Back in there. For all we know, like maybe, possibly, I don't even know, but I'm like, do y'all really think Vince is like in his office on his phone? Like, God.
Yeah.
Retweets like, what should I do? Like, I'm like, no. Like, and then they're like, we're going to be outside the SmackDown arena chanting fire Vince. I'm like, bro, like he's going to call security. Like, go out. Like,
Vince is going to call security.
All the people outside. I think you're chanting fire Vince. Call security.
Yeah.
Where's Roman? Like, I'm like, y'all really didn't visit, man. It's like, going to acknowledge you. Like, you think he's going to, like, some of the dumbest stuff, like, I see whatever. Like, this, wrestling. You got to love it, but it definitely does have, like,
you gotta love it, and sometimes you gotta hate it, but it's the best thing in the world, man.
Yeah, there are times where, like, I love wrestling, but I will have to take a break though, because like some people are just so stupid with this. Like, oh man, like it's even worse. It's like, we'll probably talk about it after the podcast.
Of course. And
I feel like I know the person you're talking about, so
I know for a fact.
We definitely gonna. We're gonna
talk about that, yeah.
But it has been about a good hour, a little bit over an hour. So I am gonna wrap up, dude. I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast again.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I wasn't even expecting you to reply back. I was expecting you to even acknowledge me, like because again, happens all the time. I don't take it to heart. There's so many wrestling people who like I've emailed or messaged and they don't get back to me. I don't take it to heart. Billy Starks, just actually shout out to Billy Stark. I actually messaged her and like at 9-10 p.m. She was like, "Hey, I'm actually booked until October, so if you're interested, then like I'll be available. But thank you so much for being a fan of me." And I was like, "Holy shit! Like Billy Starks,
that's awesome."
Awesome. Like so cool. But I get it. People are busy. We're all adult. Yeah. We have lives. People have kids, jobs,
right?
All this other stuff outside of wrestling. So, but I do just want to thank you so much.
Of course, man. Absolutely. It was an honor coming on the show. Like I said, I don't do many podcasts. The last one I did was during COVID. So any chance I get to do a podcast, I absolutely will. I always have a blast doing them. And, you know, I want to give another cheap plug to Billy Starks because you mentioned her. She's friggin' awesome. Before the show's over, I had to give a plug to Billy. She's great. She's doing her thing on Ring of Honor, and she's only 18 years old. So
yeah, back how like I saw she was messaging me back because I was showing my girlfriend. I was like, yeah, like this guy. I was showing her like our talk. I was like, yeah, like he agreed. Super cool. Like he seemed happy about it. I can't wait till tomorrow. And while I'm scrolling down and showing her the other people, like I sent a message to see if they want to come on. Right when I do that and get to Billy, I'm like, oh, and then this presser, all I see is typing and like the bubbles. I'm like, oh,
that's so cool.
I put the phone down, like she would stop typing because she saw me looking at it.
That's awesome.
My girlfriend was like, is she relying? I'm like, she's relying. Like, holy shit. Like, oh my God, I was not expecting that. So like,
yeah.
Shout out to Billy. Shout out to I'm trying to think of all the people we talked about. Kenny,
John, the Wrestling Classic,
MJF, Wrestling Classic,
MJF,
Maria,
Mike Bennett,
teasing us back in 2017, thinking Maria was going to be here. We still hate you, Mike. We still hate you for that. But dude, again, I just want to say thank you so much, and also thank you to everybody who's watching this episode. If you haven't, definitely subscribe to Blurred Pre Entertainment. Have a lot of good stuff. Not all of it is wrestling, so good material. And while you have, please go subscribe to PWEOfficial, right? That's the name of it. I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
PWEofficial _.
Underscore. Yeah. Please definitely go
get my name back.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely go give this guy a follow. It has a lot of great content. Does a lot of good takes. Overall, probably one of the best. I'm not going to say the best. In my mind, you are the best.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Pro wrestling Instagram, but definitely like the best, one of the best safe spaces for pro wrestling fans where like I feel like I'm not following somebody who's toxic or who's like just talking out their ass. So
appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Please go follow this guy. And to the rest of you people, love you. Thank you for watching this podcast. Hope you have a good rest of the day. Thanks.
Have a good day, guys.